was the only good-looking guy that wanted to crash.
He was a headhunter. He was a cheap shot artist.
So leave this one alone. She can tell right away.
Bo Eason, hard hitter. Bo would run into a brick wall.
Oh, he got his bell rung too, though. I mean, he is hurt.
You can see Eason at the bottom of the screen through that right leg and ankle. That is really gruesome. It hurts to watch.
Chuck Connors, Jim Brown, Marvin Hagler, and many others now add another former pro to the swelling ranks of athlete turned actor.
They're going to say, oh, we're going to see a football player do his autobiography. You know, he'll be lucky if he can talk. Bo is a true actor. This is a true acting piece.
Went to see a show last night, Runt of the Litter.
Oh, yeah?
Down on 28th Street. Amazingly great. Bo Eason.
Yeah, I can't sit through a lot of plays. This was an awesome, awesome play.
It's such an insight into the human spirit and the dark side that we don't see.
I'd really like to branch out into this public speaking genre.
Bo is intense, he's present, he's alert, he's alive, he's a storyteller.
Please help me in welcoming the man who has been called the greatest speaker to grace the stage in decades, Bo Eason.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Bo Eason. Have fun, have fun, have fun.
Whoa! What's up, baby? How you guys doing? What's up, man? You girls over here, guys over there, what's up? Come on! Come on! How you guys doing? You guys got good seats right there, right on the corner and everything. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Oh, I love that book. Boom, boom. Why are you guys back there, man? Come on. Come on. What's up, y'all? How you guys doing? Woo! Way over here on the... Hey, I know you kids. Hey, what's up? Oh, yeah. Oh, did I miss you? This is my favorite side now. Woo! When I was 9 years old, I had a dream. So I made a plan. And the dream and the plan was to be the best safety in the whole world. And I had 20 years to do it. Safety is a position in football, for those of you who don't know. So I had 20 years to become the best safety in the whole world. So I stole some crayons from school and some school paper, and I drew up a 20-year plan. And guess what? I brought that plan to Boston with me today. You guys want to see it? Yeah? All right. All right, here we go. And there it is. You guys see that? Can the camera catch that? Some kids just informed me the other day this piece of paper is 47 years old now. This is my little Declaration of Independence. Check that out. You got to check my hairdo. Look at that's me. Right? That's how I drew when I was 9. Look at those cleats, man. See that? Well, look at those shoes. Look at this dude. Look at number 56. What's wrong with him? Right? So, if you want to become the best safety in the whole world, you've got to be able to do one thing better than everyone else in the whole world. One thing. Guess what that is? This. Ready? Ready? Boom, 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 boom. You've got to be able to run backwards. Faster than the fastest men in the world run forwards. So that's all I did. My dad woke me up every morning at 5 a.m. and I run out to the wet grass and I would run backwards every morning at 5 a.m. Boom, boom, boom. Every recess at school, running backwards. Got it? All my friends were running forwards. I was running backwards. They thought I was crazy, right? So 10 years goes by. 10 years passes. I got to be the best safety in the whole world, right? So I got to go to college and play football. I got to play safety, right? There's 350 colleges in the United States that play football. 350 colleges. Not one wrote me a letter. Not one. Not one wanted me at their school. 350. Not one recruited me. So you know what I did? I invited myself, right, to a small college near my hometown. It's called UC Davis. Yeah. UC Davis plays Division II football. They don't give any scholarships. So all I had to do was basically walk on there, and I could continue my dream to be the best safety in the world, right? So I go to UC Davis. I just walk in there. And I walk into the locker room, and I get in this line, and the line has 100 guys in it. And I'm one of them. And at the front of this line is this cutout window. And on the other side of this window are two equipment men, and their names are Sid and Beasley. And these are the two meanest dudes I ever met in my life. Grouchy, mean, tough. They hated freshmen, especially when you weighed 145 pounds like I did. So I'm waiting in this line with 100 guys, and by the time I get to the front, I say this to Sid and Beasley. Hi, I'm Bo, and I'm a freshman, and I would like to play football here at UC Davis. And to my surprise, to my shock, Sid and Beasley handed me a practice uniform, a helmet, and a combination to a locker. So I opened up my locker, I took off my civilian clothes, I hung them up, I put on this practice uniform, and I ran out to practice. 2 hours I practiced with the UC Davis varsity team. Nobody says anything to me, so I just keep practicing. At the end of these 2 hours, all of us 100 players run in to the locker room. And the locker room entrance is about right here. And right at the front of this entrance to the locker room is our head coach, a guy named Jim Soker. And he's standing like this, watching his men file by. And as I got close, this is what he did. Excuse me, you, Mr. Eason, come here, son, I have to have a word with you. And I said, oh, shit. Must have done good, right? Coach wants to talk to me already. So I ran over to Coach. I said, hey, Coach, how you doing? And Coach said, I'm doing pretty well. However, you, not so good. Here's the deal. This is what we're going to do. You'll never play football at this level. So we're going to take away your dorm key, and we're going to take away your food ticket, and we're going to send you home, right? Now, you can go to college at UC Davis, but you will never play football here, so you could go now. So I got back into this locker room. I went right to my locker. I opened it up. I took off my practice uniform, and I hung it up. I put on my civilian clothes, and I ran as fast as I could to the parking lot. And in the parking lot is my 1977 Ford Courier pickup. It was such a piece of junk, this pickup. It was rusty. It was blue. The windshield was all cracked. The car antenna was a hanger that I stole from my mom's closet. And I got in this Ford Courier pickup, and I drove as fast as this piece of junk would go to the grocery store, all the way to the supermarket. Because 24 hours before this happened, I was sitting in this Ford Courier pickup in my mom and dad's driveway, and I was saying goodbye to my mom and dad for the next 4 years. And I'm the youngest of 6 kids, so all my older brothers and sisters, they all went off to college, and they all sat in their piece of junk car and said goodbye to mom and dad and then drove away. And now, I was the last one. It was my turn. So I remember I was sitting in my mom and dad's driveway in this truck, and my mom was on the porch, she was waving, and my dad was standing right at the headlights of this Ford Courier pickup, and he and me make eye contact. Now, my dad, he's a cowboy. He's a rancher. He doesn't talk a lot. But when he made eye contact with me, he started walking around the truck and over to the driver's side window, and he knocks on the window. And I said, oh, shoot, Dad's going to say something. So I rolled down the window. I said, Dad, what's up? And my dad still doesn't say anything. But he reaches into his back pocket and he pulls out his wallet. He opens his wallet, he reaches into his wallet and pulls something out of there and hands it to me through the window. And he said, son, I want you to take this to college. It was a $10 bill. I said, Dad, I don't need $10. They're paying for my room. They're paying for my board. I don't need it. He said, son, just in case of emergencies, keep the $10. 24 hours later, I am so happy I kept that $10 because now I'm in the grocery store and I got nothing to eat. So I buy the biggest jar of peanut butter that they had. And I bought 2 bags of those old stale hot dog buns. See, back in those days, you could buy bread that was like 2 weeks old. It was so hard, you could literally build a house with these buns. They were so hard. And they sold them to me, and they were cheap. So I bought them. Peanut butter, hot dog buns. I got in that Ford Courier pickup. I drove right to the parking lot of the locker room, and I slept in that pickup that night. And for dinner that night, I ate peanut butter, hot dog bun sandwiches. The next morning, second day of practice, I just kind of, did what I always did, which was to pretend that nothing happened. And so I sneaked back into the locker room. And I looked up at the window, and there were Sid and Beasley right there, and they were staring at me like this. And I sneaked by them. I made my way over to my locker. I opened it, and it was empty. There was no practice uniform in my locker. So I went back to Sid and Beasley. I said, you guys, hey, guess what? There's been a mistake. Yeah, remember me from yesterday? I'm Bo. I'm a freshman. Yeah. You guys, there's been a mistake. There's no practice uniform in my locker. And Sid and Beasley go, yeah, there's no practice uniform in your locker because you're not on a team. We sent you home yesterday. We took away your dorm key, took away your meal ticket, so get. And I said, I can't get, you see, because I got this dream, you guys, and the dream is for me to be the best safety in the whole world, right? And I only got a few more years to do it, so I just thought, you know what? If I could just have a practice uniform, I could keep my dream alive. Sid and Beasley are tough, right? They hold their ground. But Beasley, he had this soft underbelly, and Beasley says this to me, freshman, you wait right there. And he turns around, he walks to the back of the equipment room, and he grabs something off the wall. It was a big hunk of cloth, something. He returned to the window and he said, freshman, here you go. Here's the deal. You put that uniform on, you can go out and practice. This uniform, this wasn't even a practice uniform. This was like in a museum on the back wall. So it didn't match the rest of the team. It was a different shade of blue. The helmet was a different shade of gold. And the helmet was so big that every step I took, the helmet went like this and covered my eyes, right? But I didn't care. I took this crummy, unmatching uniform. I took it to my locker. I undid my locker. I hung up my civilian clothes. I put on this unmatching uniform, and I ran out, and I practiced with the varsity for 2 hours, sticking out like a sore thumb, right, the whole time. Yeah. 2 hours I'm in this uniform just running around. I can't see every other step because the helmet's going like this. But no one says anything to me. Nobody says anything. So A month passes, 30 days. I practice twice a day with this team in an unmatching uniform. Nobody says anything. Every night, I sleep in my Ford Courier pickup. I eat peanut butter, hot dog bun sandwiches for dinner and lunch and breakfast. And I go out and practice in this unmatching uniform. And every time I would be out on the field, I would see my teammates, the other players, our other coaches, go up to our head coach, Jim Soker, and say, Coach, what is the deal with that goofy freshman in the uniform and everything? Didn't we send him home? And no one said anything to me, so I just kept practicing. Now 30 days have passed. It is now the night of our first game. Our first game is tonight. So at 6 o'clock, the players are supposed to show up, get dressed for the game. So I just, kind of did what I always did, which is pretend nothing happened. And on game night, I sneaked into the locker room. And I looked up at Sid and Beasley, and there they were, right at the window. I made my way all the way over to my locker, and I opened it. It was empty. No game uniform in my locker. So I go back to Sid and Beasley. I say, you guys, do you remember me? I'm Bo the freshman. Yes. Guess what, you guys? There's been another mistake. Yeah, there's no game uniform in my locker. And Sid and Beasley go, yeah, there's no game uniform in your locker because you're not on this team. We let you practice. We thought that was cute. But this is a real game with real players, and you're not one of them, so get. And I said, no, you guys, I can't get because I still have my dream. And I'm supposed to be the best safety in the whole world. And my mom and dad, they're coming to see me play tonight. They're driving 3 hours. They're going to wonder where I've been for the last month. And my brother, he's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. Just, if you could just give me a game uniform, I'll just run out there, I'll run out there. Again, Sid and Beasley are tough. But Beasley, he's got this soft belly. And he says this to me. Hey, freshman. Freshman, wait right there. He turns around, he goes to the back of the equipment room. Again, he grabs another something off the wall. He hands it to me through the window. It's another uniform that doesn't match our varsity team. It's a freshman uniform, but we don't have a freshman team. So it doesn't match. It's a different color blue. There's no stripes on the sleeves. There's no stripes on the pants. And I still got that big-ass helmet still. And he hands this to me, and he goes, freshman, this is what you're going to do. You're going to put that uniform on. You're going to run out under the lights, and you're going to wave to your mom and dad up in the crowd. You're going to blend in with 100 other guys, and you are going to run over here to the very end of the bench, and you're going to sit in this little spot on the end of the bench, and you are not going to move. And I said, I'll do it. I'll do it. So I took this uniform, I went to my locker, I opened it up, I hung up my civilian clothes, I put on this unmatching game uniform, and I run out to the field. And I'm running out, the marching band is out there, the lights are on, and I'm running out with 100 other guys. And I look up into the audience, and my mom and dad are on the very top of the bleachers, and they're waving like this. Oh, there's our boy playing his first college football game. Little did they know, I'm not even on this team. So I run to the little spot where Beasley told me to sit, and I sat. And I sat the whole game. And I kept looking up at the clock, and as the time was just coming off the clock, and I just saw my whole life kind of ticking away until it was about 1:34 left in the fourth quarter. And I was just looking at the clock, and I was looking up at my mom and dad in the crowd, and I thought of one thing. I got to get in this game somehow. So we're kicking this team's butt like 35-0. I mean, we're killing them. I think we're playing like Chico State or somebody like that. We're killing them, right? So all I could do was look up at that clock and look, you guys, the number on my jersey that they gave me, the unmatching one, it was number 2 on my chest. And that's the same number as the captain of our team, Daryl Goss. Our best player and captain of our team and me are wearing the same jersey, but just unmatching, but the same number. So I'm sitting just like this on my little spot, and I look over and I see Daryl Goss, our best player, wearing number 2, and I said to myself, this is my chance. So I sneaked over behind Daryl Goss, and I tapped him on the back of the shoulder pads like this, and Daryl Goss turns around like this. And he doesn't even look at my face. He doesn't know who I am. He's looking at the number on my jersey. And he says, "Freshman, why are you wearing my number?" I said, "Daryl, don't worry about that right now. I got to ask you a favor, Daryl. I want to run down on the kickoff team for you. Is that be okay?" And Daryl Goss like, "No, man. No, you cannot run down on the kickoff team. For me, the coaches will kill me." I said, "Daryl, they can't kill you. You're our best player." And Daryl Goss is like, "Yeah, shit, you're right about that." And he got all the seniors, all his buddies, and he goes, "Seniors, check this dude out. See that freshman over there wearing my uniform, wearing my number? We're going to watch him. He's going to run down on the kickoff team for me. Let's check him out." So it's time for UC Davis to kick the ball off, right? This is the best special team to be on. Everybody wants to be on this team. That's why Daryl Goss, our best player, the captain of our team, is on the kickoff team. So let's pretend right down the middle of this stage, all the way to the back of this arena, is the UC Davis sideline. So this is our sideline going all the way, right? So Daryl Goss lines up right here in the field of battle. So he's the end guy on the kickoff team. The kicker's going to kick the ball that way. He's going to run down and make the tackle. This is where he lines up. This is where I line up. 1 yard out of bounds. Right before the kicker kicks the ball off, this is what Daryl Goss does. And this is what I did. And the number 2s now have traded places. The kicker kicks the ball deep. I take off. Now, I am small, but I am fast because I am scared. And I'm running down this field as fast as I could. And if you are the first person to run down on the kickoff team, if you're the number 1, if you're first, then you are met with what is called the wedge. And the wedge is the 4 biggest players on the opposing team. And this is what the 4 biggest players do. They interlock arms like this, as if they're getting married. 4 guys, 275 pounds apiece with interlocked arms. This is the wedge. If you are the first person to run down on the kickoff team, your job is you become a wedge buster. So your job is to run full speed into these 4 guys and just take them all out like bowling pins, so that now your teammates can make the tackle, right? So I'm running down this field, and I'm the first one down there. I knew it because I was the most afraid. And as I got there, I just was looking at this wedge, and my whole life turned into slow motion. And I'm running like this, and I'm looking at them, and I can only see them every other step because that helmet was coming down like this. And I just remember thinking this. Uh-oh. This is really going to hurt. And as I got to the wedge, instead of busting the wedge, this is what I did. I closed my eyes and I went airborne over the wedge. And on my way back down to earth, bam! I hit that ball carrier right in the chest. Bam! He goes flat. The crowd stands up. Yeah! And then I stand up. Yeah! And over the loudspeaker, I hear this. Tackle made by number 2, Daryl Goss. I dropped my hands as fast as I could. I tried to turn invisible and get off that field as fast as I could, because the part I didn't tell you guys was Daryl Goss is a 250-pound black man. I was looking back over my shoulder at the sideline, and our head coach, Jim Soker, the guy who sent me home 1 month ago, was standing like this. And right next to him was the real Daryl Goss, and he was like this. And I sat there until the last minute, 20 seconds came off of that clock. The referee sounded the gun, and I ran as fast as I could into that locker room. I was the only guy in there. I ran straight to my locker. I opened it up. I just took out my civilian clothes. I hung up my game uniform, and I didn't even shower. I just put on my civilian clothes, and I ran out to the parking lot, and I sat there in that Ford Courier pickup, and I ate peanut butter hot dog bun sandwiches. And I slept in that pickup that whole weekend. And I was dying, man. I was dying. I thought, this is it. This is it. I'm going to kick me out of this school for sure now. And Sid and Beasley, they're probably going to get fired. And Daryl Goss, he's no longer going to get to be our captain, right? And I was dying the whole weekend. Then Monday morning came along. And so you guys know what I did, right? I just did what I always did. Just pretend nothing happened. And Monday morning, I sneaked into that locker room. I looked up, and Sid and Beasley were there, and they were pissed. I made my way by them all the way over to my locker, and I opened it. There was a brand new varsity uniform in that locker. And 4 years later, I was the first safety chosen in the 1984 NFL draft. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And people always say, well, how can that be? How could that be? How could you go from the worst player in the history of America to the best player in the world at a position? How can that be? And it can be because what's invisible to you over all those years is this. Running backwards my whole life. My whole life I've been obsessed with what it takes to be the best in the world at what I did. So after I played in the NFL for 5 years, I decided I got to do something else, right? Because what I do best is run 25 miles per hour and throw my head into other people. That's what I do best in the world, right? That does not translate to good occupations outside of football. That gets you arrested and put in jail. So I said, to avoid prison, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the best at something else. I achieved the best safety. I'll do the same thing. I'll put together a 20-year plan, and I'll become the best stage performer of my time. That's what I came up with. I have no stage background, right? I saw a play once my sister was in. She had a beard in the play. I said, how could a girl have a beard? That's so cool. I want to do that. I want to be the best stage performer of my time. So I moved to New York City, right? Because I can't get this best, what it takes to be the best. I can't get it out of my mind. So I moved to New York City from California, right? And I go to all these classes. I do all my hard work in theater, in writing, in performance, in improv. And I go to all these classes. And I'm the oldest guy in the class, right? So I go to all the students in the classes and I go, hey guys, check this out. I want to be the best stage performer of our time. And they're looking at me like I'm an idiot, right? And I go, what? So what I need to know from you guys is who's the best right now? Who's the best stage performer right now? And they all said Al Pacino. I said, great, where's he? They said, I don't know, it's Al Pacino. He's a movie star. He's probably on a movie set. I go, no. If he's the best in the world and I want to take his mantle, then I got to talk to this guy. So where is he? So my agent made a few phone calls. In about 3 days, I was at Al Pacino's house. Now, Al Pacino's the Godfather, right? I mean, this guy's, right? And I came walking up, and there was snow all over the ground. I come walking up to his doorstep. Al Pacino comes out of his house. And he's like that big. And he comes running out. He goes, hey, Bo, Al Pacino. I'm like, no shit, Al, you're the Godfather. He goes, come on in, Bo. I know why you're here. I know you want my mantle. Come on in. I'll tell you how to get it. I said, cool. So me and Al Pacino go back in the back room, and we play pool for 3 hours. And I say, look, I want to be the best in the world at stage performance. Can you help me? They say you're the best. So he broke down my next 15 years. In those 3 hours. He told me who to study with. He told me what to do. All I wanted to do was be the best. That's it. Not second, and not third, and not mediocre. I wanted to be number one. I wanted to be the best. He told me exactly what to do. So now I go do what he told me to do for 15 years. I do exactly what he told me to do. I trained more than anybody else on the planet could train. And I got pretty good. But then I'm opening a play in New York City, and I'm backstage just like I was today. I'm right back here, backstage, behind the curtain, just like this, and I'm about to run out in New York City to a play that I wrote, and I'm the only guy in. And I come running out, and I start performing the play like this, right? And I'm having like, my gut is done. I think I'm going to pee my pants. I was so nervous. But then, about 10 minutes into the performance, I made eye contact with a guy. And he was sitting in row 5, right about there, right on the aisle. And it was Al Pacino. And I hadn't seen him in 15 years. And this is what he did. I make eye contact with him, and this is what he did. And that was it. That was it. Always obsessed with being the best. Now, when I say that to you guys, when I say being the best, does that freak you out a little bit? Does that go, I don't know about the best, Bo. Maybe second or third or fourth or 137, but not the best. Anybody got a problem with that? No. Anybody got a problem with being the best? No. Because if you do, and then when you go back to your hometowns, your family or your friends, if they've got a problem with that, I want you to remind them of the day that they were conceived. Everybody got this? Can any of you remember the day? Check it out, check it out. Can any of you remember the day of your conception? Can't remember that day? Can't remember it. Okay, let me just give you a little reminder here real quick, right? Of what happened on that day. Just in case there's some problems with being the best. Okay? So this is what happened. Everybody got it? 300 million sperm were delivered on that day. 300 million. You were one of them. I was one of them. You were one of them. You were one of them. 300 million to 1 odds that you would be born. Now, on that day, you were swimming against some great athletes. That swim was not casual. It wasn't like, dun-dun-dun-dun, backstroke. It wasn't like that. It was like you guys were like, bam, I got to fertilize this egg. Millions of years of evolution and design have taught every one of those 300 million sperm to get to that, fertilize that egg. So I bet you were throwing elbows in there. Bam! I don't even know if sperm have elbows. But you were fighting and you were swimming and you weren't making excuses. You were you, right? And then you are the one who fertilized that egg. So if you want to argue with me about being the best, you take it up with Mother Nature. Because you won the first race you ever entered. Yeah! Yeah, baby! That's us! That's us! That's us! That's us. And yet we're so nice, right? And you guys are sitting so politely there, and you're being nice, but you were not nice on that day. You were determined, and you're still determined. You just don't know it yet. So when you return to your hometowns, and the people go, well, Bo, it's conceded to be the best. You tell them 300 million to 1 odds on a swim race that I entered, and guess who won? Everybody got it? So do you know who you are? Everyone knows who they are. So would 300 million to 1 odds, would you be like casual about your life? Like, oh, I hope I do good today. I don't know. Would you do that? No, hell no, you wouldn't. We don't do that. We are determined, right? We are number one, and that is our birthright. Everybody got it? Okay. Obsessed with being the best. Okay, I'm going to train you right now. 3 critical steps. I'm going to train you right now on how to be the best. Everybody cool with that? Everybody good with that? Okay, number 1 thing. You ready? Number 1. Do you think I'm going to write some stuff on the board and stuff? Heck no. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to train you. Number 1 thing you've got to do. The number 1 thing you've got to surrender to now, if you're going to be the best. Your story. Your personal story. Your personal story. Your story. Your story. That is the most powerful thing that each and every one of you has, is your story and the ability to tell it. And it's got to be personal to you. So just like I told you the UC Davis story, right? That's a personal story to me. What is that in your life? I told you the story about Al Pacino. What is that story in your life? So that people know how to follow you. I'm telling you right now, all of you right now, you have communities and classrooms and churches and families that want to follow you. But they don't know how unless you lay out some connective tissue to them. So you've got to do that. And the only way to do that is to tell your story. Everybody got it? Let's do a little experiment real quick. 5 seconds. Think of right now, just in your own head, the proudest moment that you've ever had in your life. Proudest moment. Everybody got it? Okay, forget that one. It's not a good story. Now, think of that one moment where there were no answers, where you thought it was all over, where there were no answers. You looked around and it was only you. That's a good story. That's the story you want to be telling. Now, soon enough, you guys are going to be, applying to colleges and writing those essays, and the only thing that distinguishes you from 7 million people on the planet, or 7 billion people on this planet, there's one thing that distinguishes you from them. Your story. That's it, your story. It's it. That's all you got. You got to surrender to the fact that you're going to tell this thing everywhere you go. Everybody got it? Cool. Number 2, the second most critical step that you've got to take on, and you got to take it on now. Physicality. Physicality. Am I physical up here? What does the rest of the world look like? We are Mother Nature. We are with Mother Nature. She moves. Do you know that human beings are predators? You guys know that? Physicality. Human beings are predators. You know that? We're like saber-toothed tigers. We're like great white sharks. We're like cheetahs and lions. We are predators. Yet we spend our whole life pretending we're not. We listen to the news and they tell us predators is a bad thing, right? They assign that name to the worst of our society, right? Well, we are predators, and we are dangerous, okay? That swim that you had, 300 million to 1, you are dangerous, all of you. But you're noble, and you're trustworthy. But you got to get after your dreams with some kind of Mother Nature on your side. Otherwise, you can just go opposite of Mother Nature. You can go the opposite of Mother Nature like the rest of the world does, and you won't have any impact at all, none. You'll be just like the rest of the world, just like following around, trying to fit into this human thing. Human beings are predators. We are dangerous, we move, and we are great. The guy who taught me how to move, a guy named Jean-Louis Rodrigue, there's this tribe that he studied, and the tribe is in Africa. They're called the Nuba tribe. And the Nuba tribe is known for their people, their tribes people, they never get eaten by predator cats. Isn't that wild? They never get eaten, yet the tribes down the road, they get eaten by predator cats, but not the Nuba tribe. So my guy, he wanted to know why this happens. Why wasn't this tribe being killed by the cheetahs and the lions and the leopards? Why? So he went and lived with the Nuba tribe in Africa, and he studied them. And he sent back pictures and he sent back videos to us performers and taught us exactly how the Nuba tribe moves. And the Nuba tribe moves exactly how I move. They are predators. They move like predators, and predators will not eat them. Everybody got this? If they're walking around like pigeons, like most Americans do, predator can't wait to eat that thing. But a predator will not eat a predator. So it's how they move to keep themselves safe. So you all have a vision, and you all have a dream. And if you don't, you're going to have one here in a few minutes. Everybody got it? And you got to protect that vision and that dream with a sword. You got to protect that thing, because there's all kinds of people out there and things that want to push that thing down and not let it come true, and you cannot let it happen. Whether it's Sid and Beasley, whether it's Daryl Goss, you cannot let that dream pass. You have to protect it like a mama bear, like a grizzly bear at all times. Number 2, you guys are all predators. Everybody got this? What predator would you be if you're a predator? What would you be? Tiger, right? How about you? Lion. Lion. Shark. Cheetah. You look, yeah, cheetah, right? How does a cheetah move? Does a cheetah go like this in Starbucks? Or does a cheetah like bam, bam, move? Physical, Mother Nature, that's number 2, okay? Everybody got it? And number 3, you got to give all of yourself all of the time. I call that generosity. Generosity. Now, I'm not talking about, hey, Bo, hey, man, I'm a big tipper generosity. That's not what I'm talking about. Or, hey, Bo, I give a lot of money to charity. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you with the ability to give all of the spirit that you got inside you all of the time, instead of handing it out with little teaspoons all the time. You guys remember a guy named Jerry Rice? Who remembers Jerry Rice? Do you? Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Jerry Rice is the greatest football player ever to play the game. Yeah, he played for the San Francisco 49ers. He's got so many touchdowns than the guy in second place, he could never be caught. He was so great. I used to have to play against this dude. It is a nightmare to play against this guy because he gives all of himself every time the ball is snapped, every time. At the end of my career, I got traded to the San Francisco 49ers. So now me and the greatest football player ever to put on a uniform are now on the same team. And I said, shit, that's good. Because I want to see what this guy does, right? So I made this deal with myself when I was 8 years old. And the deal was this. I was going to be the first person on the practice field or the practice court, whatever sport it was. I was going to be the first guy out there every time I practiced. And I was going to be the last guy to leave that field, every practice that I ever had in my life. And for 20 years, nobody beat me. I was always the first one out and the last one to leave, 20 years. So I get traded to San Francisco, right, with the greatest player ever. And I go to training camp, and the first day of training camp, I'm in that locker room 2.5 hours before Joe Montana, before Steve Young, before Ronnie Lott, before Randy Cross, one of the greatest teams ever. 2.5 hours. I'm in there. I'm putting on my San Francisco 49er jersey because I want to be the first guy out at practice for 20 years, for now 21 years. And I step out onto that field in Rockland, California. And it's about 110 degrees. And I just look around at these empty green fields and I say, yep, 21 years. And I look right over there, and guess who's standing there? The greatest player in the history of the game is already out there. I was like, how does that make sense? Why aren't the lesser players out here? Why is he out here? First time I ever got beat. So 2.5 hours now passes. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Ronnie Lott, Randy Cross, they all come out to practice. And this is what we do to warm up in the NFL, right? Joe Montana, our quarterback, he stands about right here. And he's going to take the snap, and he's going to throw the ball nice and easy to some wide receivers who are in a line right over here. And Jerry Rice is a wide receiver, so he is in this line, standing right here like this. The first receiver up does this. Joe Montana snaps the ball like this. This guy does this. 16 receivers in a line. This guy goes like this. All cool, half speed, all pro glide, breaks off a little slant route. Joe Montana throws the ball. The receiver catches the ball and stops. And he walks the ball back to Joe Montana, gives Joe the ball, and gets back in line. Next guy up does this. All cool, all pro glide, breaks off a little slant route. Joe throws the ball. Receiver catches the ball and stops. Walks the ball back to Joe Montana, hands Joe the ball, back in line. And then Jerry Rice comes up, the greatest player ever. And I said, good, I want to see this. And this is what he did. Boom! Full speed. Bam! Breaks off a slant. Boom! Catches the ball. Boom! He is gone. 100 yards, full speed, he's gone. We were like, shit, where's he going? Full speed all the way to the end zone, turns his body around, sprints all the way back, hands Joe the ball, back in line. I was like, damn. The next receiver comes up. He's going to run a little out route. This is what he does. All cool. All pro glide, breaks off a little out. Joe throws the ball. Receiver catches the ball, stops. He walks the ball back to Joe Montana, hands Joe the ball, back in line. And then Jerry Rice came up again. And this is what he did. Boom! Full speed. Bam! Breaks off and out. Boom! Catches the ball. Boom! He is gone. Gone 100 yards. Over and over and over and over again. 3 hours. He must have run 10 miles of dead-ass sprints all the way to the end zone, turned his body around, ran all the way back, handed the ball to Joe Montana, back in line. I never seen anything like this. I played football 20 years. I never seen anybody do that. So I went up to Jerry at the end of the practice. I said, Jerry, I said, hey, man. Damn. What are you doing, man? Why you do that? I mean, all that, you know, that, running. Why do you do it? And he said, that's very simple, Bo. I do that because every time these hands touch a ball, this body ends up in an end zone somewhere. I was like, you know, there are no accidents. This guy gives of himself. Every time he touches the ball, this thing ends up in an end zone somewhere. No wonder he's got the touchdown record. He has trained his body to give all of itself all of the time. A couple of years ago, my wife came running into my bedroom, and she goes, Bo, guess what? Your old teammate, Jerry Rice, he's going to be on Dancing with the Stars. What do you think I said? He's going to win. And he did. And he can't even dance. I mean, Jerry, a lot of guys in the locker room can dance. Jerry was not one of them. But I knew that he would outwork every one of those celebrities every time. You guys, a couple of years ago, I was asked to marry this young couple, right? And they go, Bo, will you marry us? I'm like, I'm not a preacher man. They go, no, you are a preacher man. And apparently I am, because I went online, in about 8 minutes, I was a preacher man. And sure enough, I'm standing in front of the church. I'm going to marry 2 people, and their families are all in the church, and I'm standing up there in front of them, and I want to look official because it's my first wedding, right? So I bought this leather-bound book, so I look like a, preacher man. And there was nothing written in this, but I wanted to pretend like I was reading something. And this is the first words out of my mouth at the first wedding that I ever officiated. When I think of marriage, the first person I think of is Jerry Rice. Every dude in the church is like, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Finally, this is my kind of wedding. And all the ladies, they were going, well, now, who's Jerry Rice? A famous romantic of some kind? This is how much this guy has changed my life. He changed the way I got married. He changed the way I am on stage. He changes the way that I parent my kids. He changes the way that I talk to you. Because when I come up here, I could phone this in, right? I could give you half effort. Am I giving you half effort? No, I'm giving you everything I got. I'll bleed up here. I'll sweat up here. I don't care. I see you as the best, and I want you to see it for yourself. And I'll do push-ups. I'll do whatever it takes for you to see that. Just like Jerry Rice. You got it? Everybody got that? So you are in control of how much you're going to give of yourself. You're in control. You're in control. Jerry Rice is in control. He just turns up the dial, while we got our dials like half mass. Don't have it that way. Give all that you got. So the number one thing that you've got to do, you want to be the best. Who wants to be the best? You want to be the best? How about second best? Yeah. Who wants to be second? Do you know nobody in the Olympics ever entered the Olympics with a dream like this? Well, I hope I win a silver. Nobody ever said that. No one ever entered the Olympics and goes, wow, I hope I get a bronze medal. Nobody ever said that. They enter to do what? To win, just like you. 300 million to 1 odds. It's you. So let's crank that dial up and get this thing going. Everybody got it? That's cool with that? Yeah. Yeah. I want to show you guys exactly why I do what I do, why I talk to you. Because look, you're the future of this country. You're the future of this world. We are counting on you. We are desperately counting on you. And if you just let these dreams just fizzle away, then shame on you. If you let this vision and these dreams that you have, and only you have, if you just let them like, oh, I'll just let somebody say I'm terrible at this and I'll just let it go. If you let that happen, you know what I say? Shame on you. You do not let that happen. You got it? Very serious. You are predatory. You have primitive instincts to protect these dreams, and that's what you have to do. I'll show you the reason right now in flesh. I'll show you the reason why I speak to you, how I speak to you, and what I want from you. Where are the kids? Yeah, right there. You guys come up here. These are my kids. Yeah, come up here, guys. Woo! Yeah! I'm so sweaty. She goes, that's disgusting. You're all sweaty. Hey, sweaty. This is Lila. Lila's 8 years old, right? This is Lila. This is Eloise, my 12-year-old. She's 13 win and 2 weeks. A week.
Like 4 weeks.
4 weeks. 4 weeks, 13. Hey, when you're a dad, you got to know these things, okay? So know him. This is Axel. He's 10, okay? Look, this is what I fight for. But listen, this is what I want you to fight for. You have kids like this coming up underneath you, right behind you, right on your tails. And if you let down on your dreams, guess what's going to happen to them? Yeah. You take the pedal off the gas on your dreams, guess what happens to this generation? You got to inspire them. You got to inspire them. I'm going to show you what. Hey, Lila, you got the mic?
Eloise just gave it to
Oh, she gave it to you? All right. I like that. Let me show you what I do with my kids, because I want to do the same thing with you. If you live in my household, I'm obsessed with being the best, right? So that's what they're held to, that standard. So imagine being my kids, right? That's how it is. So we put our dreams on boards. We put our dreams in plans, no different than I did when I was a kid. Okay? Let's put the first one up. Is it Axel's the first? Okay, that's Axel's plan right there. So Axel's 10. We made this plan initially when he was 7. 6 and a half, 7. Can I tell him what it is, Axel?
Yeah.
Yeah? Axel wants to be the first guy ever on this planet to play both in the NBA and in the NFL. That is, yeah. Yeah. So listen, what are the odds, of that happening? If no man has ever done it, what is the news going to tell you? What is ESPN going to tell you? They're going to tell you that can't happen, aren't they? Because it's never happened. And I will guarantee you 100% that that's happening. And you know how I know? It's very easy. It's very simple. That is his dream in living color, okay? Everybody he wants to be is on there, including Jerry Rice at the top left. That's my brother down there, New England Patriots quarterback in the Super Bowl in 1985 is right there. You'll see Kobe Bryant and those kind of guys there. These are the guys he's looking up to. These are the guys he's anticipating being. But listen, does this dream just die on the vine? Do we just go, oh, let's just have a dream and we'll forget about it for 20 years? Do we do that? Do we do that, Axel? What time are you up every morning?
5.
What time? Give him the mic. You say it in the mic. What time are you up?
5.
5 a.m., right? That's how it goes. That's how it goes. You come back here, guy. Come back here. Stay right here. This is how it goes. Who wants to live in my extra room? Yeah, this is how it goes. Your dreams come true. Who's next? Let's go to Eloise's. Eloise's initial dream. Come over here, sweetheart, so you can see it. That was Eloise's. Was that 2 years ago, Ben?
I think it was 3. Maybe?
3 years ago? Oh, sorry. We're stuck. 3 years ago, Eloise began her dream of wanting to be a performer on Broadway. So, yeah. Woo! So what does that mean? What does that mean? So when she's, I guess she was 10, 9 and a half, 10 when she made that dream. What do you think she's been doing between 9 and a half and 13? Busting her ass, right? Class, voice, acting class, dance, movement, all of those things, getting in shape. You got it. I want her to be the best. That is the goal. Does everyone understand this? Does everyone see how this works? It's pretty simple. It's so, listen to me. Everyone goes, God, Bo, that's really hard. Being the best is really hard. No, it is hard. It's hard to be the best, but you know how hard it is to be mediocre? That's so much harder to be mediocre and try to fit into the society we live in. I want you to be the best. That's what you're born to be. That's what Eloise is working on. Now, let's flick to the next one. That's where she is now. So this is the new plan 3 years later. Still Broadway, but it's getting more specific. It's 20 years. It's a 20-year commitment. This is what you can expect in your life if you want to be the best. And she wants to open up a Broadway cafe. Do you see those little treats over there on the side? Now, I'm sure no one's ever done that either, right? So, Eloise, how many more years do we have till that happens?
5.
5?
Well, till I go to
Till you go to
college.
5 more years until college. Yeah, and then who knows how long it's going to take. But you just keep working, and you keep working. And eventually, these dreams happen. They're not fantasies. They're dreams. They're real. They live in real life. All right? You want to say anything to the kids?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, everyone always says, like, never give up, but seriously, don't. Everyone always regrets it when they're older, so you should never do that, because if somebody ever asks you, what do you regret, your answer should be nothing, because you did it. Like, you didn't give up.
Woo! Yeah, Eloise. All right, let's go Lila now. Lila, come forward. Go see your people, Lila. Now, Lila is 8. But when she was, what were you? There's yours up there. But I think you made that when you were
I was 7.
You were 7 when you made that?
With Alexa.
With Alexa? You can talk into the mic. So Alexa's her best friend. So what was this plan about? What was this dream about here on the board? Talk into the mic, like a snow cone.
Her being my sister and like us doing a lot of things together.
Yeah, it's great. And now, listen, the only way out, listen to this. The only way out of your dreams, there's one way out. There's one way that they won't happen. Guess what that is? No, you can die and they still come true. Seriously. You have to quit. You have to quit. And our society quits way too soon. You do not quit. You understand? The only way out of this dream is you're going to have to quit. You're going to have to go to mom and dad or your teacher or whoever, and you're going to go, you know what? I quit. You're going to have to do that. You know how painful that is? You do not quit and they come true. You stay true to your dreams. You guys got it? This is the reason why. These dreams have to come true. Therefore, yours have to come true. Do you know your job? Does everybody know? Really? Is that that's how you know your job? Like, yeah, I guess so. Do you know your job? You guys got it? Do you understand why? Everybody got it? Okay, kids, thank you. Good job. Good job, Eloise. Good job, Axel. Good job, Lila. Love you, baby. You guys, check this out. I'm working on something. I've been working on something for a long time for you, so that you can be one of my kids, right? So you get the same benefits and the same dreams that they have come true. You guys cool with that? Are you guys cool if I break that down, what that looks like for you? Yeah? Okay, just in a few minutes. I've created this program. You're the first people to hear about it. It's made for you. It's made the way I train my kids, the way I train everybody that's around me. Everybody has to be the best. That is what the program looks like. It is online. It is called The Best Mindset. We have got to get this mind, your mind, around what it takes to be the best, not second. Everybody good with that? And this course, this online course, comes in 4 sections, 4 lessons. Number 1, we're going to have to condition your brain to be the best. Because, listen, if you say, like say you say, I want to be the best safety in the world, your brain knows exactly what to do with that information. If you say, I want to be the number 1 brain surgeon in the world, your body, your brain knows exactly what to do with that information. But if you say, hey, I kind of want to get good grades, or I kind of like to be average at brain surgery, that ain't happening. You got to condition your brain to be the best. That is the first module. The second one is we're going to build an environment around you so that you are surrounded by the best. To be the best, you got to be surrounded by the best. A lot of you have people and distractions that keep you from being the best. We're going to eliminate those. Everybody got it? We're going to build that around you. Number 3, we're going to find your personal story, your signature story. We're going to find that for you. Just like my signature story's up here, so that you have something to write and you have something to tell everywhere you go. And number 4, you are going to commit to the life of your dreams. You either have the life of your dreams or you have the excuses why you don't have the life of your dreams. And number 5, as a bonus, this is an extra one, I'm going to teach you to do exactly what the kids did with those vision boards. We're going to create a vision board for you and your dream, and you're going to be exactly like my kids. You're going to run the miles that they run. But we've got to find what you want to be the best at. Only you can tell me that. Once we have that, now we can do all the work. Each of these lessons comes with a video that I'll train you on, and it comes with an audio download. So if you're at the gym or you're on a jog, you can take me with you, and I'll be in your ear. There's writing exercises where you'll capture your story. There's extra resources, and you can go through this at your own pace, at your own home. Who wants to be the best? Yeah. All right, everybody. Let's be the best, okay? Everybody got it? Thank you. Appreciate it. Woo.